know what's out there, and how this is not how creation is meant to be. This is just a very, very dark place. So the Gnostics describe the same thing. But there's other levels too, which drive you on. When you can see where this sequence is taking people to get even more and more extreme in this simulation, as they change the website, if you like, more and more and more and more from what it originally was, then you can't walk down the street and look kids in the eye. You can't look your own kids in the eye, your own grandkids in the eye. You have to do everything you can to make a difference. And what I can't understand, and I've experienced it many times, is over this 31, 32 years I've been doing this, I've seen people come in and they realize something's going on, and then they disappear. And some other people come up and they're flavor of the month for a short time, and then they disappear. And I look at it and I think, how can you walk away? If you claim to know where this is going, how can you walk away and leave people to their fate? I can't do that. And I'm driven by wanting to break the stranglehold that this force has on human perception. And I'm driven by wanting to know the truth. I don't want a statue. I don't want a round of applause. And if from the other side comes abuse and ridicule, that is all irrelevant to me. I want to know the truth, and I shall pursue it no matter what the consequences, because I don't even think about consequences. People have said to me, when you said that, didn't you know you'd get ridiculed? Well, do you know I'd work that out? But I'm going to say it anyway, because it's about uncovering your truth and then speaking it, not uncovering your truth and then keeping quiet about it, and because you don't want other people to think badly of you. I say to people, don't, this prison that people live in, the fear of what other people think. If you live in a prison, like most people do, of fearing what other people think, you're not you anymore. Never mind handing over your self-respect, you've handed over your uniqueness. You're now molding yourself to become what other people think you should be. Where have you gone? We are part of a infinite expression of consciousness, all possibility, all potential. But we are unique expressions of that, as a unique series of experiences and perceptions that have created us, that have made us what we are. And there is no contradiction between seeing that we're all one, that we're all expressions, points of attention within an infinite whole, and celebrating the uniqueness of our particular perceptual point. And if you start fearing what other people think about you, you start editing yourself, you start censoring yourself. Shall I say this, or what shall I say so these people think I'm okay? Well, I don't care what those people think of me. They have every right to think of me whatever they choose to think of me. That's their right, that's their choice, that's their freedom. Freedom is not the freedom to have everyone agree with you. Freedom is the freedom for people to have their own opinion, whatever it is. But it's also my freedom to speak my truth, and I'm going to do so, and nothing's going to stop me. No level of ridicule, no level of abuse, no level of intimidation, none of it. Because once you open your heart to beyond the simulation, out into prime reality, then you lose the intimidation that comes with fear. fear is not only the currency of control. Fear is the controller. This Wetiko consciousness, this inverted state of consciousness, this chaotic, distorted state of consciousness that's seeking to pull human consciousness into itself and assimilate it, is what we call fear. It is itself fear. And that's why it wants many reasons and many advantages of doing this, but there's a key foundation that people miss. When you fall into states of fear, you fall into the frequency of that which is fear, and the fear is what the Native Americans call Wetiko. It is fear. That's why this cult is so fearful constantly of exposure. It's why it wants to control everything, because its insecurity comes from a state of fear. It is fear. It's how fear came into the world. You talk to people out there who've been out there. They're not states of fear. This whole society we call human, which is the simulation, is founded on fear. Why? Because the consciousness that's behind it is itself fear. So when you open your heart, you move beyond Wetiko. Your frequency reaches a point that you're operating on that Wetiko can't touch. That's why it doesn't want love. That's why it doesn't want a society involving love. Because once you have love and joy, you're out of the layer, the frequency layer of Wetiko. And therefore it can't touch you, and it can't influence you, and it can't manipulate you. And one of the great things that, I mean, I've been on many of these, most of them actually, these great marches in London for freedom since, through most of this COVID era. And what hits you is the joy, the laughter, the love among those people. Because seeing it in the wider sense and your consciousness state are the same thing. So this is another thing, you know, love is knowledge. Love is intelligence, innate intelligence, untaught intelligence, known intelligence, all-knowing intelligence. And so this is the answer. On every level, this is the answer. And people think love is weak. Love is the ultimate power. Why? Because it doesn't have that which takes your power away. It doesn't have fear. And you put all these things together, and this is why once I started to awaken myself and I started to see what's going on, there was no level of ridicule or abuse that was going to stop me or shut me up. And this is what I would say to people. I hope I'm an example of it. Speak your truth. It doesn't matter what people think of you for speaking your truth. Because I know from experience, they'll think something else tomorrow. And if what you're saying has validity, eventually it will be shown to be so. And then instead of you trotting on towards the world as you're told to believe it, the world starts coming to you. And you start living life instead of life living you. You just do whatever that you're told to do. That's not what happens when you open your heart. Your heart won't have that.